Good evening, good day, good morning, good morrow, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Welcome to the Valley Cast. This is a Joe solo Valley Cast, a JOLO, as those in the industry say. Look, man, I needed to make a podcast because it's getting late in the week. And my compadres are AWOL. One is in Europe, gallivanting and having the time of his life. The other is in the middle of a move, a relocation of existence, living the best of his life. And the other is off saving orphans all over the world and being the best human that I know. So it's just me. I think, don't quote me on this, I do believe in the time of the Valleyfolk and the Valley Cast. We haven't missed a week. And by golly, not on my watch. So, kids are in bed, wife is in bed, I've got work in the morning, and here we are. We're going to do a JOLO podcast. So I just kind of Instagrammed out some calls to action where I asked you guys to just give me some questions, give me some fodder. So a lot of people sent me some questions, which I didn't really pre-screen. We're just going to go with the flow and see what we can get out of it and see if we can pump out 1/2 of an hour to 45 minutes of okay content. Does that sound good? Yeah? Yeah? In the back, does that sound good? Great. Awesome. Thank you for being here. All right. From Instagram.com/Joe Beretta or whatever the hell it is. I'm gonna read some questions. We're gonna jump right in. A little Q&A, a little old school. Also, check out my banister. Did it myself. Festive. There's like 6 different types of accoutrement on there because I was just throwing it together, but it makes me happy. So, all right, here we go. From @Joe Beretta, who asked this question because I wanted to make sure I knew how to utilize the technology to do this. I asked myself, why do you look like that? Because I have a very self-deprecating anti-Joe streak inside of me, and I just threw that out there. I look like this with the long hair right now, the longest that it's ever been in my life, because at some point I was like, I've never had long coif before. I would like to see what long coif feels like. And it's been great. I'm a little over it. I definitely feel a lot of empathy for the fairer sex now because long hair is a pain in the ass. And to think that, society expects you to have it all the time and you feel like you have to have it all the time, holy crap. It's nice. It's fun. Sometimes it's nice to throw my fingers through it, but hair is everywhere. It gets in my face. I haven't learned how to eat without getting it in my mouth when it's like this. And it's a pain in the ass. It's just a big pain in the ass. But I'm keeping it for now because I have reached that point in my life where I either cut it and get rid of it, which I'm tempted to do a lot of the time, or grow it out to the point where I can cut it off and then donate it to a charity to make a wig for cancer patients. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I have to be getting close. I've heard 12 inches. I've heard 16 inches. That's what I would like to do. So once that is in your head and in your heart, even on the days where you're like, you know what, that thing I said to myself, I'm not going to do it now because I'm really annoyed because it's getting in my mouth. Then you're like, damn it, I said that thing where I wanted to donate it, so now I gotta commit. So I'm excited to commit to that. I think this will probably be the last time in my life I'll be able to. I don't know if the hair will be of quality. Next time I can give it a shot. So there we go. I answered my own question. Good job, Joe. Thanks, Joe. You look great. Next one. Let's see here. Oh, let's go with... Let's go with this one. This is from Ella the Oddflower, who, by the way, is a co-worker of sorts over at React with me. Ella was brought on to spearhead and start a channel called Junebeam. It's a fashion channel with a fun, I would say, casual, carefree, inclusionary look at fashion in the world. And it's I'm very proud of her and Sierra and Kat, all the people that have been working on it, because it's been very interesting to watch somebody start a YouTube channel from scratch these days. You don't really get to see that up close and personal, and it's been really, really rewarding to watch a lot of people put all of their heart and soul into everything from figuring out the name to figuring out what the content is going to be to watching them have some fun successes and wins. So go check out Junebeam, youtube.com/Junebeam, I do believe. It's really cool. Great set of people working on it, making some fun stuff, and I would love to see them succeed, so give them a shot. Ella asks, what three films changed your life or altered your identity the most? These are like essay level questions that I need time. So I'm gonna shoot from the hip. I don't think I've ever had I don't know if I've ever had an experience of like seeing a film and it like totally jarred my path so much that I was on a new path. Like I don't think I've been affected that much by any type of work, be it film or music or whatever, which is actually kind of sad because I would love to feel that at some point. What a powerful moment that would be. Just to indulge in a piece of art so much that you're like, everything that I'm doing now doesn't matter. It's this now. And you're like, that is all thanks to Ace Ventura. Uh, if I had to pull some crap out of the old head butt, and answer your question right now, Ella, I would say things that come to mind, and I do not stand by these in any way, shape, or form. These could change at any moment, but this is in the moment now. Uh, I remember walking into an apartment or a house on our college campus at Gonzaga in like 2000. It was late. We were coming in after, I don't know, being at the bars or something. And all the lights were off in this house. And we came into the living room and there was like a good 20 people, just 20 college students sitting crisscross applesauce on the back of couches and stuff, just glued to a TV. And me and my friends, shout out Ty Jacobson and Justin Dorn, we're like, what the hell's this? And they're like, this is Wet Hot American Summer. It's this new movie. And we're like, okay. And we watched it for like 2 seconds and we were hooked, just glued. It was this type of humor that we'd never really seen before. It was a movie that was presenting comedy in a way that just seemed so fresh and different and like anti-establishment and fun and carefree. And I think that movie helped shape maybe my comedy a little bit, whatever that is. Um, but I think it just shaped the idea that anything could be comedy and it doesn't have to be serious and it doesn't have to make sense all the time. But you could also get together with a group of friends, go out into the frickin' forest or a camp for a couple months during the summer and just rock out something weird and smart and out there and see that it could be successful, but also see that it could appeal to a large amount of people. And Wet Hot American Summer was just a little bit of a breath of fresh air at the time. Um, I don't think it altered my existence, but it did. I did appreciate it a lot, and I do think it did. It might have molded my clay a little bit, and I still love everything that those guys have done since. I think Role Models, which was also a David Wayne movie starring Paul Rudd and Sean William Scott. I think it came out 2010, 2009, something like that. For my buck, one of the best comedies that has been made in the last 10 to 15 years. I think comedy in general has kind of struggled a little bit. As far as movies go, it's thriving everywhere else, of course. But I think like we haven't had this huge batch of movies that we're just in love with comedy wise lately. And I think Role Models is just up there. It's so freaking good. Watch Role Models. Love that movie. Thank you for sticking with me on this JOLO crusade. You asked for three movies, Ella. Um, let us see. One that altered my childhood existence, and I've told this story before, was Chucky, Child's Play, the first one. I saw that way too young, like at 5 or 6. I don't know what my parents were thinking, but I did watch it, and I actually could have been in the nook of the stairs where we would sleep upstairs, the kids, but then we'd go downstairs and there'd just be this little part by the banister where the parents couldn't see us and we could watch the movies that they're watching. And I can't remember if this was one of those opportunities or not, but I watched Child's Play. Chucky embedded himself into my prefrontal cortex and everywhere else, and I sleptwalk night terrors for years, like probably 3, 4, 5 years after that. My dad would tell me real fun stories of me coming down the stairs, and I would have that like blank little kid, like sleepwalk face. And he was just sitting like the lazy boy one time, and I apparently just walked up to him, jumped on his lap, grabbed him by the collar, and screamed, "I don't want you to die," in my sleep, and then like went back to bed. And funny story back then when he tells me now, but now I think of like if my kid did that to me, how that would reinstigate night terrors in my life now. If my kids just jumped on my lap and started screaming, "I don't want you to die." Yeah, and I had very vivid night terrors. Remember many of those dreams from them. Even now today, could probably draw if I had any artistic ability. Um, the setting of some of these night terrors that I had. Now, that's the negative effect of it. However, it also did create a very morbid curiosity for me with horror, and it was always a favorite subgenre of mine. Growing up, still is. It's become an area of bonding with me and my daughter. We spend our late nights after everybody else goes to bed. We'll pick a movie that she's never seen, and we'll watch a horror movie together. So we've, during the month of October, one horror movie every night. So that's been fun. It's a very uh, big bonding experience with us. And yeah, so it's weird how some trauma from your past will shape you in an avoidance sort of way, but some trauma in the end can actually be overcome accidentally into something that's a little bit more of a positive experience. So that one kind of did it on accident, Ella. Uh, one more. One more. Here's a bullshit answer, but it's actually a really good one. So I grew up in Montana, and where we lived, there wasn't a lot of artistic outlets. A lot of there was like band and choir and stuff like that, and I had a really great band teacher growing up. Shout out to Mrs. Ulmer from Columbia Falls, Montana. And that gave me a good musical background or music background, which was really nice at the time. But there wasn't really a lot of performing, and I think there was something inside me that always kind of wanted to, but there wasn't an outlet, and I was shy and kind of scared to even attempt anything like that. And senior year, a group of friends found a camera, and one of them had a computer and one of them had Final Cut Pro. There's always that one friend that has the thing, and they started making little shorts together, and I stumbled in to that group, and our friend group kind of coalesced around that, and we made dumb movies, dumb little comedy skits for class credit and stuff like that. So I would say The Mullet Hunter, where I played a really poor impression of Steve Irwin, ran around a Walmart tackling my friend who had a mullet on. We did this in public. It was kind of like, I'm sure we were influenced by Jackass at the time. And we made a little movie, and then we went on to make more movies, and then we all went our separate ways and went to college. I went to college to be a teacher or a physical therapist. I didn't know what the hell I was going to do. And then I fell into broadcasting because I knew I had this itch to continue making those movies and to continue making those little comedy pieces, art, as some would say, are art. And yeah, I think then I accidentally tripped and fell into YouTube after that, and 19 years later, I'm still tripping and I'm still falling constantly because of the Mullet Hunter. That video still exists somewhere. You'll have to pry it from my cold dead hands. Can't do good impressions now, couldn't do them then. So there's three for you, Ella. I don't know. There's probably more. And I'll get back to you since I know you. So let's go from there. Call Me Carson asks, Sorry, I was seeing how long we were recording. This is not going to be a long one. Call Me Carson asks, best slash fave memories from being behind the scenes at Smosh in honor of its birthday. Happy birthday, Smosh. I saw Ian and Anthony talking about this and some of the others, Courtney, via the social medias, and it sounds like it's the 19th birthday. I was there for the 10th birthday and 11th and 12th, I think, somewhere around there. I remember changing the Smosh logo to a 10 in there. Lots of good memories from Smosh, quite honestly. It was a fun 3 years, a great group of people that I still have a pretty good relationship with across the board. Positive, 100. Lots of good memories. Man, we did so many cool things that I'm super proud of from that time. We created the Smosh Summer and Winter Games series, which was this amazing, like wild and crazy kids meets Survivor meets a corporate influenced get to know each other bonding session. Really, the reason we did this program was so we could all go out somewhere, be it a cabin in the woods or a summer camp, and just spend a week together hanging out with each other and making content. And lucky for us, the audience responded. Lucky for us, the company let us keep doing it. Lucky for us, they did not handle their money well and let us spend it. And we made some cool things. And I have a lot of fond memories from that with everybody across the board. Um, and I'm still very tight with a lot of them since. Smosh Summer Games was great. Smosh Live will always have a really dope, big place in my heart. Smosh Live was quite the experience. We wanted to make an SNL show on YouTube. And I think we did it. Like that was the pitch. It's like everybody else, if SNL can do it, why can't we do it? And this company, I think it was Five Gum, came along and they're like, "What are your big ideas? Just pitch us something." Just on a whim, I was like, "We could do this live show. It'd be pretty cool. We could do an after show. We could do a before show." And they said yes. And then we're like, "Crap, we got to make it." And we did. It was so cool. We hired Luke Baratz to come on and spearhead it, and we all wrote sketches for it. And uh, I think we pulled it off. The cast did a wonderful job. Luke did an amazing job. It looks good. Super proud of it. They forced me to host it. I didn't want to. Didn't shit the bed, I don't think. So that's good. And it'd be cool to be able to do that again someday. But I think it was a first of its kind. I don't think it's been done since, from what I've seen on YouTube. I think pretty sure we won the Streamy for best live show. Super proud of that. Yeah, and everybody was just so good in it. So funny. I think there's some classics in it. The intergalactic dance sketch, one of my favorite sketches that we've pulled out. Um, Luke and myself, and I think Luke's brother Lee might have helped on that one a little bit, but yeah, we came together to make that one. Started here, then it went to Luke, and then it went to I think Lee, and then it went to the cast, and it was super super funny. Um, Fun fact: another thing that started here was the Mole People sketch. I pitched that for Smosh Live, and we went to the writers' room, and they came back with it, and then it didn't make it into the live show. But then Bring the Funny came around, and we were like, well, we got to audition with something. I was like, I got a sketch that we pitched there, and that we got written, and I want to do it here. So we reached out to the team. I was like, I really want to do this. Can we take it back? Gave it to us. Again, props to Lee Baratz for helping write that script. And we took that to the audition for Bring the Funny, got in, and it was the first sketch in the show. Super proud of that as well. Smosh. What else? Just bringing up these cool, super talented new cast members that are still part of the world, that have made it in their own right. They're all more talented, more funny than I was ever at their age, at their time, and I love watching them thrive. I love watching them succeed. I watch from far away with like angry, angry dad eyes if I ever see like side eyes if something doesn't go their way. Um, but yeah, super proud of everybody and what they're doing over there. Been very proud of seeing every iteration, even when I wasn't there. You know, when Matt and Sarah kind of spearheaded it for years after us and did some really, really cool stuff. And now they're in like Smosh version 6.0, and we're still interweaving with one another. We have Noah and Keith and a bunch of the other new cast members coming over to React all the time. Sarah's been on React. It's fun. It's a fun little incestuous group we have, and I'm really, really pumped that we still get to continue to create alongside of one another and celebrate each other's wins and mourn each other's losses and just be there for each other. Be happy shoulders and sad shoulders to cry on. Um, Smosh. Anything else? Anything else? There's so much. There's so much. I'm telling you, the Smosh made for TV movie or the Smosh book that comes out, whenever that comes out, 5 years, 10 years from now, it's gonna be fascinating. The Smosh story from start to finish, from start to now, is a one of a kind, super involved, messy, exciting uh, journey of a bunch of people, starting with Ian and Anthony. It's so cool that it's back with Ian and Anthony, and I don't know, fascinating, fascinating beyond belief. But yeah, lots of Smosh stuff. Let's see here. Things that would be interesting for you guys to hear. What is the most interesting thing your kids have taught you? That I'm stupid. And what I mean by that is that kids on a daily basis, from the moment they start talking to the rest of your life, it doesn't matter. They will ask you questions that you cannot answer in an effective way. And it makes you realize from the start that you are nowhere near as smart as you think you are. And the fact that you can't articulate good quality answers to seemingly simple questions right out of the gate, from when they're small to when they are in school and they start doing subjects that you used to thrive at in fourth grade or eighth grade or in high school, and then you can no longer help them with their homework because you've just forgotten how to do it all and you have to re-educate yourself on it. Like, having a child, an inquisitive child who you want to give as much robust knowledge and tutelage and education and advice to, and you can't do it because humans kind of, you find it, a lot of adults, even yourself, I'm rambling on this question, I apologize, but like, you realize how surface level we are when it comes to thinking sometimes, because you'll be like, oh, here's the basic answer to the question that you have, honey, and then they'll follow up with a why, and you're like, wait a minute, that's level two of the onion of knowledge, and I haven't thought about that forever. And then you dig past that layer a little bit, and you can, and then you get to the third layer because they ask why again, or just something like really intuitive, something very observational that you haven't really thought of, and then you can't in the moment, and you can't give a quality answer, and you get frustrated. So then you go, just because. And then they get into high school, and then you go, I just can't help you. I think it would waste your time, as I have to sit with the book for the next hour and a half to re-educate myself on algebraic principles and pre-calc and stuff like that. Literary terms? I think I know them, but those are in Shakespeare prose, and I'm not sure how to identify that. So it's a very, having kids is a very fun exercise in humbling yourself constantly. But if you take that challenge in, I think, the right way, it just forces you to continue to be curious, and it can force you to continue to be uh, learning on a consistent basis. And I think that's super great if you can get over your ego and you can be a little humble. And I think if you can do that and showcase curiosity, I think curiosity is one of the most important traits a human can have throughout the entirety of their life, and it's so easy to lose it. I've lost it at times. I think it's hard to reharness as you get older, because you have you have responsibilities and duties and stresses and things that kind of overtake the power of curiosity. I think curiosity is the thing that kind of drives us as humans. Um, so I think a kid can reignite that. But first, they remind you that you're dumb. You're real dumb. I'm real dumb a lot of the time, and it's so crazy. I can go to work and I feel like I can articulate myself to my coworkers in a manner that does make me feel smart. I'm like, hey, I'm not an idiot. I'm okay. And then I come home and I can't explain the same concept to my kids. It's weird. Uh, Maybe they're just super geniuses. I don't know. But that's what I've learned from kids is that none of us are as smart as we think we are, and there's always room to continue to learn. And if you don't like that, you just say just because. And it's so crazy how we have Google right in front of us, and even then, a lot of people they'll go, I don't know, figure it out. Instead of being like, oh, we could figure this out together, and then like do a dual learning like moment of bonding. I do that sometimes, but sometimes I forget because I'm stupid. But my kids are making me smart. All right, let's see here. Oh, good lord. What else do we got here? K-Back asks, do you still have a relationship with one Philip DeFranco? P.S. Loved meeting the SourceFed crew in Toronto. Hell yeah, Toronto was cool. That was fun. Great city. Yeah, Phil and I are currently in a fantasy football league together, which it's like a legacy league now. We've been in it for 12 years, 13 years with a bunch of other YouTubers. And right now, I hate it because I'm in last place and that sucks. And it's not because I did anything wrong. I'm perfect. It's because the roll of the dice of fantasy football is it's all up to the fates. There's nothing you can do. It's bullshit. I've got a team with Puka and McCaffrey, and like 10 other people, and I keep losing, and I hate it, and it's the worst. And yeah, we're in that together. And every once in a while, we'll hang out. He'll have like a little get together. We'll show up, talk every once in a while, text here and there. Yeah, Phil's thriving. He's like a big old like buff Adonis now. Good for him. Maybe I should have my kids start asking questions about fantasy football. Then maybe I'll be not shitty at it. I'm in another league with Elliot Morgan and Grace Helbig and some other YouTubers. Pretty sure I'm in last place in that one. I hate it. I hate fantasy football so much. I hate it. It takes over every one of my Sundays. But it feels so good when you win. It feels so good when you play that sports D&D. It feels so good when your dexterity of your receivers is high and the charm of your quarterbacks is good and you roll a 20. Fantasy football is just sports D&D. 100%. 100. Mr. Peanut asks, what did you think of the latest Taskmaster? All right. Taskmaster is my favorite show, or has been for the past 5, 6 years. I gotta say, this season that's just happened or is going on. Don't know if it's over yet. Not really doing it for me. I think there's enough. Taskmaster has been around enough that people know what they're getting into when they get into the show now. And that could be good or bad. I would say in this season, it's not great. And they've got a couple cast members that just don't really, like, legitimately seem like they don't want to be there. Sometimes that's a funny shtick, and that could last for a couple episodes. But then, like, you got to you warm up to it. You get won over. Now, there's some dudes on the show that it's just kind of like, oh, you really came here because your agent was like, you should do this show. And I think that kills the fun a little bit. And but I still enjoy it overall. I still think it's better than most things out there. I think Alex Horn and Greg Davies are awesome, super funny, and I still enjoy the shtick that is British competition reality, which has no real stakes. They don't really care if they win or lose, and I think there's something to that is so appealing. as opposed to American television reality, which is so steeped in like winners and losers and caring too much and stupid competition and drama. I think Taskmaster is a breath of fresh air and super. It's one of my faves. One of my faves. So even though it's not my favorite season, I still laugh. I'm still ecstatic at some of the games. I think it's inspirational for some of the stuff that I do at work, having to come up with game stuff, be a game master. And I think the closest thing to Taskmaster these days via the YouTubes is Dropout. And Dropout's awesome. And I'm a big fan of Dropout as well. And I think they are doing what Taskmaster slash Whose Line Is It Anyways back in the day were doing for improv. It's kind of like both of those things slammed together. And I think they're doing it quite well. I think it's silly yet intelligent comedy that doesn't take itself too serious. And I appreciate that. So good job, Dropout. Good job, Taskmaster. Appreciate you both. All right. Okay. How's everybody doing? Checking in. I'm still here. This JOLO expedition. We're all on the river of entertainment together. It's a little choppy. it's we've lost our paddles. There's a hole in the boat. Meryl Streep fell out a couple rapids ago. That's a River Wild reference. Kevin Bacon. All right. Let's see here. Let's see here. Let's see here. Oh, Uncle Joe, what is one thing you would tell 25-year-old you? Hey, dude, heads up. You did a good job. You kept that little thing you made alive, and she ends up being pretty cool. Good job. Kids is scary, but you're doing a good job. High five. Thanks, Sage Zid. All right, let's go here. Let's go here. Let's go here. Nicole from People versus Food. Check out that channel as well. Asks, if you were a ghost but stuck at the Burbank Mall, which store would you haunt and why? Let's be clear. Most halls are haunted by the ghost of what they used to be. Anyways, malls are sad. Malls are relics to what they were 5 years ago or 10 years ago or in their heyday, the 90s and 80s. Malls suck. I hate malls. It's weird. I never was comfortable with like the capitalistic nature of them in general, just because I was a poor kid and still am a poor man. And I hated it. I hated going through malls and being like, look at all that cool stuff that I can't have in that store or that store or that store. And it made me uncomfortable. And I don't like shopping in general because of that, I think. But arcades were dope. That was the only cool thing about malls was arcades. So, to answer your question, immediately off the bat in Burbank, I would not haunt the arcade, the new school arcade that was where an old school arcade would be. If it was an old school arcade with like Mortal Kombat 2 and Area 51 and the original Virtual Fighter and a shitty old Pac-Man tabletop arcade machine that wouldn't eat your quarters and an asteroids machine and a golden axe. If it had all that stuff, maybe I'd haunt that because that would speak to my likes and desires. But those don't exist anymore, and they've been replaced with shitty Chuck E. Cheese in the dark, ticket spewing motherfucking carnival games that make you pay $700 for a frickin' Tootsie Roll at the end of the day. I hate arcades now. They suck. So the arcade in the mall? No, I'm not haunting that. Again, that's haunted by its former self, and it's a demon pit. I hate it. Now, there is a round one in the mall, which is like new school arcade, way too big, way too loud, an annoying amount of tickets, but still filled with really cool video games and like Dance Dance Revolutions and like some Japanese arcade games, and there's a good balance there. But there's also a karaoke room, and there's also bowling and beer. So I'd haunt that place for a number of reasons. One, speaks to my a lot of my desires and likes and needs. But if you are continuing to be curious and you're fascinated with the human journey and human nature, I think a place like Round One lets you indulge slash spy, ghost peeping Tom into the lives of many of people. Oh, you want to know how the drama's going at the local high school? Well, you can listen to all of them talk shit over there. Or you can watch how a family is spending their Friday night together after a long week, doing some bowling, listening to the passive aggressive nature of the father as he doesn't perform as well as he does and he blames it on the rest of his brood. You can go check out the karaoke. You could do some secret background harmonizing with somebody doing Holy Diver by Dio. That would be dope. So I would haunt round one, or the Burbank Mall has a cobbler, like a dude that there's a store, a little corner of a guy that still fixes shoes like old school style, like bring in your boots, I'll nail in the soles and they'll last another 2 years, and you do it for like 2 bits. A legit old school cobbler. And I feel like if anybody needs to be haunted, is that guy. It's that store, right? You know every old boot that's coming in there is probably haunted anyway, so you're getting visitors from around the world, if not just the neighborhood. So I would have to haunt the cobbler out of principle. I feel like, or round one. Round one, I feel like I would get the most bang for my buck. And, I have a feeling ghosts are like Toy Story characters. When everybody else is gone, you can like do what you want. So I'm just gonna like get high scores on everything. And it's gonna be, who's this? Who's this JOLO? JOLO's got the number one on every single one. I'd get so good at Dance Dance Revolution. I would figure out how to mess with all those really bad like scam machines that give like, oh, you could win a Nintendo Switch and nobody ever does. I'd make it so everybody wins a Nintendo Switch. Hell yeah. I'm a benevolent ghost. I'm like a Robin Hood ghost in round one. Or the cobbler store. Consider that question answered, homie. All right, what else? What else? I feel like we're probably almost done. You guys have heard enough, right? Right. Right? Right. What's the da 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 doodly doodly doo 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 doodly. Listen to my song as I find an interesting question to answer. Do you, Logan Kershaw asks, do you watch a lot of YouTube? If so, what are your favorite channels at the moment? Admittedly, I do not watch as much YouTube as I used to back in the day, mostly because I'm making a lot of YouTube all the time. And I think a lot of the fare these days is not directed towards my demographic, and you really have to search for it if you want to find it. It is a platform that is definitely beaming its cathode rays at the youth. However, there are some people that I still do watch, and there are some people that I watch alongside my kids that I try not to let watch too much YouTube. You know, just a bunch of crap. I still really really enjoy Corridor Digital. And I love what they've done with their brand. They went from making cool movies based in CGI and tech and pushing the possibilities of the platform to becoming kind of like stalwarts and authority figures for CGI and in movies. And I think that's really, really cool. I love what they've created over there. I think it's educational. I also think it's entertaining and smart. A lot of the things that I look for in the entertainment that I peruse, and it's really cool because it's one of those things that my son and I, when I'm putting him to bed, we'll sit down and watch a video sometimes, and we'll watch Corridor Digital. So thank you, Corridor. You guys are the best. Sam, Nico, and friends, you guys are so cool. The Scale series, Jackson loves that. We also watch Dude Perfect together. So I guess I watched Dude Perfect. I think those dudes just nailed it. They found a niche. It's positive content. I don't think it's all throwaway. I don't find them aggressively obnoxious. I find them inspirational in the right way for the kids that watch them. I think they've parlayed what they do into I yeah, like I said, like a positive brand overall with very little, if any, pitfalls of negativity that I see. So I appreciate what they do as well. I think it's hard for, or it was, again, niche things. I think it's hard for a sports-based entity to do well on YouTube. At least it was back in the day. There's an NBA and there's a 2K and a basketball healthy community these days on YouTube. But I think Dude Perfect did it pretty well. Uh, Still check in on the Smosh folk, and I'll watch what they're doing, especially the Try Not to Laughs, and a lot of their. I like to see what their new formats that they're doing when they're coming out. I'm just a huge fan of a lot of, if not all of the cast still, and I'm getting to know the new people too, and they're swell as well. Still checking on the Rhett and Links. I would be lying if I said I don't get excited every time Hot Ones drops an episode. I think that they do what they do well, and I also think that I enjoy um, every blue moon when Epic Rap Battles drops drops a video. I still super dig everything that they're doing. There's more. I know there's more. It's not coming to me right now. There's newer stuff. There's newer fare that I know I like. I know there's a lot of stuff I don't like, and I'm not going to call it out, but it's a lot of the shit that my son watches. I think there's a lot of spectacle creating garbage creators that are just copycatting and not really adding much to the cacophony that is too much media. And I don't say this as an old man. Look, I liked Jackass, and I know there's versions of what the youth are watching now that is their Jackass. I get that. So I know it's there. There's just so much. And I don't see a lot of originality because Jackass was Jackass at the time. Nobody else was really doing that, at least not on the scale, right? Skater culture, mainstream. These spectacle videos are all just copycats of, a Mr. Beast or the next version of Mr. Beast. And there's not a lot of originality in that. And I see a lot of just screaming at the screen. And that's it. I like content that is funny and in an interest corner that you have, but I also like it when it's also secretly educational, where you're learning something while you're watching it or challenging yourself, And I just think there's a lot of stuff out there that is just filling the gaps, unfortunately, for the iPad kids of the world. There's my old man soapbox. Sorry. Is there other stuff that I'm watching? I know there is. I know there is. But I'm not going to try and remember it right now. Yeah, no. I listen to podcasts. Does that help? I still listen to The Lonely Island. Great podcast right now. It's Seth Meyers and The Lonely Island, and they're going over every single digital short. Every episode's about a new digital short that they did on SNL, which is really cool because they were kind of a parallel comedy existence as I was going through YouTube. Was big fans of them back in the day and was just kind of like vicariously living through their experience and being very happy for every like big win that they got on SNL. And they're just doing behind the scenes stories of it all. It's really, really fun. And they talk about the episodes in depth that the digital shorts were on, a lot of behind the scenes stuff if you're a comedy fan, if you're an SNL fan. And it's all topped off with the cherry that Andy Samberg super hates doing podcasts. And it's a very funny through line. But it's also a funny through line watching him warm up to the idea. And I've been really enjoying the new digital shorts that have been hitting the SNL these days. So I guess I really still like SNL and Lonely Island, and I'll watch those clips on YouTube all the time. I do check in. I don't watch SNL live anymore. I watch it all online, for better or for worse. Okay, great, great. There's more of me talking about myself to you. Thank you for being here. Let's see if there's something else interesting that I can talk about. Boy, what's a fun question that I could answer? Talked about movies already. We don't need to do that. Alex Fink asks me what I think about AI. That's a bummer because I don't think I don't think my thoughts are positive for the most part. I'm already watching many jobs be replaced. I'm already watching. I think it's right now. It's a fun tool that shouldn't replace actual learning, that shouldn't replace, uh, again, curiosity outside of just playing with the platform. I think it can be a time saver for things like formatting or idea generation. I feel bad for any teacher in school right now trying to navigate the waters of educating the youth and challenging them in the right ways when this type of technology is readily available. I've talked to many teachers about it, and it sounds like a nightmare. Uh, it frightens me right now. I use it to make dumb games, uh, which even that has a morality clause in it. Because I'll just generate like shitty art for things, for games I make, and people are like, "Don't do that. You should pay people." And I'm like, "Well, I would. I just don't have money to do it. So I'm fucking use AI." So yeah, I think it's a silly thing right now that is swiftly becoming something that we don't understand, especially people on the ground level of society. Favorite thing growing up about Montana, Alicia Braden? I think it's one of those things where you go, "Oh, I'm not there anymore, so I appreciate it more." The outdoors, the freedom, being able to get lost easily in the right way, having recreation at my fingertips and not realizing that I had it all the time. Oh, I'm gonna go jump in a river with my friends. Great. We're gonna go lost in the woods. Awesome. Um, yeah, Montana was slower in a good way. Community felt It felt like a little bit more of a community than I am now, but I don't think that's any different than anywhere else if I was to go anywhere else other than Burbank, Los Angeles. The weather was great, seasons, but even that is kind of like not the same, unfortunately. It's weird to think that I have a nostalgic connection to weather patterns of my youth that are no longer there anymore, um, which will be a fun thing to deal with in the next 4 years. Uh, when I was growing up, it was fall, winter, spring, summer, and winter piles of snow, just like they would have to bulldoze all the snow on the playgrounds at school, and we would have these massive snow mountains where, you know, 4 or 5 years into my educational uh, upbringing, they had to start, that's when litigious people really started to exist. They had to be like, no more playing on those giant fun snow piles. But we used to have those. I don't think they make those anymore because the winters they're thin now. It doesn't start snowing really and sticking to the ground till mid-December, if not late December. I think a lot of the ski hills are opening up way later than before, and most of it's fake snow now. And uh, summers are longer. There's a fifth season now. It's fire season. It lasts forever. So I definitely have a nostalgic yearning for the Montana of my youth. It's a little bit different now, but I still love it every time I go back. Um, the vistas, the views, nothing like it. Okay, um, guys, this has been real. This back and forth. For all of you that stuck with it, I appreciate it. I'll take notes. Please give me notes. I love the feedback when it's nice. Let's see. Anything else here? Anything else here? Thank you for listening to the Valleycast, everybody. The rest of us will be back in the fun banter that is occasionally jokey with some back and forth yuck yucks will return. Would you ever consider D&D on the channel? Can I be on it if yes? Chaotic Stupid Podcast. I think, maybe, yeah. As far as React goes, it all just comes down to, do we think the idea will resonate uh, with the audience on the channel at the time or in the culture? And, if strategy is like, hell yeah, that sounds like a good idea, we'd make it. We'd do something like that. Can we get more people playing movie game, please? Yeah, I've been sneaking it in a lot more on React, and it's so fun. It's fun, guys. I opened up the box again and I played it, and I forgot that it's fun, and I forgot what I wrote, and I'm really happy with it. Um, I hope I can do something with the movie game in the future. I'll formulate something someday. The time is passing. I'm almost dead. Uh, Any tips on raising a daughter in the modern world of technology? Cell phones? Question mark, says Marky Key. Um, don't give them a smartphone. Don't need it. Give them a flip phone. I think there is way too much pressure and anxiety and freedom's the wrong word. Access. Um, I think some kids can handle it. I think most kids are ill-equipped for the mental and emotional responsibility that comes with it. I, in no way, shape, or form, want to put my own daughter on blast, but I will say that I did see things like anxiety increase once we allowed that type of technology to be in her hand constantly. There's something that's really, the human brain is not equipped to be constantly connected to every aspect of your life. Um, whether that's constantly connected with work, I think that's bad for us. I think it's bad for me to always just have it in my hand and be constantly stressed and connected and not being able to let go. I think it's horrible to have that with the school drama and peer pressure. I think it's horrible to have that with your relationships, thinking that you always have to be available. And if you're not available, you're doing something wrong. So I think smartphones are a no-no. And my son will hate me because he'll see that she got one, but we're going to learn from her example and he won't have one. I think flip phones are the way to go as far as technology goes. Have them be able to text and have them be able to communicate with you and their friends, but get them away from the constant barrage of media and ideas and connection that I think a smartphone brings. I think it's nice to be able to leave a house and have a reprieve and get your thoughts back for a little bit, even on a subconscious level. So that would be my advice, but fuck if I'm right. I don't know. Taskmaster did it. Things, movie game, done it. Uncle Joe, what is one thing? Nope, we did that. I think that's good. What is this about? Erin Stevie, one of my favorite peoples. She's great. She's a reactor that came in. She's been around for a while, but I think I met her like a year or so ago. Love Erin. Brightens up the room. What is the most valuable lesson you've learned working in Hollywood? What a fun one to end on. I don't know if I've technically worked in Hollywood, quite honestly. I've done a lot of digital stuff while living in Hollywood. Um, what have I learned? I think at the end of the day, everybody, be it YouTube, be it TikTok, be it movies, be it television, be it live comedy, whatever, everybody's just people at the end of the day. Uh, they got fears, they've got anxieties, they're all pretty freaking normal when you sit down and talk with them, and there's no reason to put anybody on a pedestal, and there's no reason to be afraid of anybody. The business can suck, but the business can also be rewarding. Uh, I've met nary a pedophile in the business, despite what certain news organizations are blasting into your mind. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think there are certain ways to navigate it if you're looking for a certain type of success, and there are certain ways to navigate it if you're willing to be open and to any of the possibilities that could come your way, right? I think there's a traditional acting route that you can take if you really want to do old school Hollywood, and then I think there's a way that you can dabble in that while being a creator and paving your own path where you don't have to wait for somebody to say yes. So I think it's different. I think it's all evolving. I don't think there is a, I don't know if, I mean, the Hollywood now is different from the Hollywood that was Hollywood when I came here, and it's going to be very different in the next 5 or 10 years. I think it might not even be Hollywood anymore. Hollywood just might be an idea that has a bunch of hubs, be it Atlanta or Vancouver or, London or wherever. People are just going to create where they create. And I think the movie star is dying, and it's more just about brands and personalities, which is interesting because going back to the AI conversation and the way it's going to affect creativity and creation, I do believe that authenticity is going to be the number one driver of entertainment moving forward, whether that's YouTube personalities, TikTok, Instagram, stand-up comedians. I think are going to do very well in the future because it'll be like, oh, that's that. I know what that person is. That's a human, and I'm in the room with them, and we're that thing is making me laugh, and I connect with it on a organic level. So yeah, I don't know. Anyways, guys, this was what it was, and I appreciate you being here. For more better stuff, the next Valleycast will be better, I promise. You can go check out the React cast where myself and a bunch of fun humans from the React world and special guests from around the internet come together and we have great conversations and play games, and you should check that out as well. You can check out a lot of the fare that I do over on youtube.com/react, and also Bullseye, which is a game playing competition channel where we do a bunch of fun stuff. And that's it. That's the Valleycast. It was by me, Joe Beretta. Now it's over. Hope you had a good time. Hope you made it through most of it. And if you didn't, you missed this song. Bow, bow.